Folks, we are hoping. Hello!
Irish boy!
And for anybody else who wants to review Act 3, Scene 3, so this is Block B, and we are going to run through the temptation scene in relay. The first 4 scenes, each group will be reading parts and then adding commentary as if they are watching the Iago-Othello game. And then the second half will be student scene performances. So group 1 is covering, is it lines 90 through? 90 through 134. Right? Okay. Excellent. So just go ahead and specify who is reading, and then we can take it away.
I am Othello. My objective in this scene is to find out what Iago is talking about, because he's being kind of like secretive.
And I'll be playing Iago, and my objective is to kind of lead Othello towards believing that his son has cheated.
Excellent, wretch. Perdition catch my soul. But I do love thee, and when I love thee not, chaos is come again.
My noble lord,
What dost thou say, Iago?
did Michael Cassio, when you wooed my lady, know of your love? Looks like Iago is turning up the heat. This is a leading question.
He did from first to last. Why dost thou ask?
But for satisfaction of my thought, no further harm.
Why hast thou thought, Iago?
I did not think he had been acquainted with her. Looks like Iago is tempting Othello. Let's see if he catches the bait.
Oh yes, and went between us very oft.
Indeed?
Indeed, aye, indeed. Discernest thou aught in that? Is he not honest?
Honest, my lord?
Wow, looks like there's some repetition going on, but who's the real honest one?
Honest, aye, honest.
My lord, for aught I know.
What dost thou think?
Think, my lord.
Think, my lord, by heaven, he echoes me, as if there were some monster in his thought too hideous to be shown. Thou dost mean something. I heard thee say, even now, thou likest not that, when Cassio left my wife. What dost not thou like? And when I told thee he was of my counsel, in the whole course of wooing, thou criedst, Indeed? And didst contract and curse thy brow together, as if thou hadst shut up in thy brain some horrible conceit. If thou dost love me, show me thy thought.
My lord, you know I love you. Lie. Othello thinks Iago loves him, but he really doesn't.
I think thou dost, and for I know thou art full of love and honesty, and waste thy words before thou givest them breath. Therefore these stops of thine frighten even more. For such things in a false, disloyal knave are tricks of custom, but in a man that's just, they're close dilations, working from the heart, that passion cannot rule.
For Michael Cassio, I dare be sworn that I think he is honest.
I think so too.
Men should be what they seem. That's ironic, because Iago isn't even what he seems. Or those that be not, would they might seem none?
Wow, it looks like it's that time again, folks. Another common theme of appearance versus reality.
Certain, men should be what they seem.
Why then, I think Cassio's an honest man. Iago used intimation to call into question the honesty of Cassio.
Nay, yet there's more in this. I prithee speak to me as thy thinkings, as thou dost ruminate, and give thy worst of thoughts the worst of words.
Good, my lord, pardon me.
Yay! Okay. Good.
So good.
That was fun. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I want to definitely point out that this is a pretty significant chunk of text. It's early on in 3.3, and this is really where Iago is laying the groundwork, right, for the destruction of Othello. And you'll notice he did it by never saying anything directly, right? I love it. They mentioned leading questions. There were certainly leading questions. There was a lot of hesitation that came in the form of repetition. You know, Othello would say, is he honest? Honest, right? He would just repeat what Othello was saying back to him, hesitating, right? Seeming like there was something he wanted to say, but he wouldn't actually say it. I think you mentioned maybe some intimation as well, so he hints, right? He just by dropping Cassio's name, mentioning it along with Desdemona's name, he starts to suggest there's something there, but he never directly says anything, right? Think about yourselves for a second. Is it more powerful for someone to tell you something directly or for you to come up with an idea on your own? it's much more powerful if you come to a conclusion about something, right? Then you feel like, you've kind of sorted through information to get there. And that's what Iago's doing. He hints enough, he intimates, he asks leading questions, so that ultimately Othello thinks he's drawing this conclusion, and that's where kind of the power lies. Iago also used a lot of ethos early on here as well. He keeps saying, like, my lord, you know I love you, right? That ironic statement, men should be what they seem. He's trying to, assert that I believe in trustworthy people. So that ethos is also really important at this point in order to convince Othello. What do we think? What's the effect on Othello so far? He is already, we can tell. How can we tell he's already a little rattled? Because he's asking questions. He's asking a lot of questions. Like, what do you mean? What's going on? What are you talking about? And that really indicates to us as readers that he is curious, right? He does wonder if Iago has something else on his mind. Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay. Scene 2. Come forth. So we're going to pick up right there at line 134 and go to line 178.
Oh, right.
You'll notice here, Iago's going to pick up a little bit.
Can I sit on the chair?
Yeah,
Sure. Are you our commentator, Megan?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm Cat. No,
I'm Cat.
You are, yes.
You are.
I'm Othello, and the scene is kind of like already falling into the trap, and he's getting kind of riled up.
Yeah, I'm Iago, and I'm trying to be like low-key about insinuating Desdemona's and Cassio's affair, and like keeping basically Othello at bay with his curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Good my lord, pardon me, though I'm bound to every act of duty, I'm not bound to that all slaves are free too. Utter my thoughts. Why say they are vile and false? As where's that palace whereunto foul things sometimes intrude not? Who has a breast so pure, but some uncleanly apprehensions keep leets and law days, and in session sit with meditations lawful?
Ooh, did you see that? He has some hesitation. He's using intimation, saying what is bad, but not directly saying it.
Thou dost conspire against thy friend Iago. If thou thinkest him wrong, and makest his ear a stranger to thy thoughts.
Oh, Othello's changing his tone. He's getting more frustrated.
I do beseech you, though I perchance am vicious in my guess, as I confess it is my nature's plague to spine to abuses, and off my jealousy shapes faults that are not, that your wisdom then, from one that so imperfectly conceits, would take no notice nor build yourself a trouble out of a scattering and unsure observance. It were not for your quiet, nor your good, nor for my manhood, honesty, and wisdom, to let you know my thoughts.
Iago, what's with the hesitation? Just tell him what's happening.
What dost thou mean?
Good name in man and woman, dear my lord, is the immediate jewel of their souls. Who steals my purse, steals trash. 'Tis something, nothing, 'twas mine, 'tis his, and has been slave to thousands. But he that filches from me my good name, robs me of that which not enriches him and makes me poor indeed.
There goes that reputation. Reputation, what's with the deal? He told Cassio it wasn't perfect, but now he's saying it's perfect.
By heaven, I'll know thy thoughts.
You cannot, if my heart were in your hand, nor shall not, while 'tis in my custody.
Ha.
Sorry. Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is a green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. The cuckold lives in bliss, who certain of his fate loves not his wronger, but oh, what damned mittens tell he o'er, who dotes yet doubts, suspects yet fondly loves.
Oh, misery.
Othello has no words.
Poor and content is rich, and rich enough, but riches fineless is as poor as winter. To him that ever fears he shall be poor. Good God, the souls of all my tribe defend from jealousy.
Thank you. Good. Okay, so you can see that Iago, as they kind of pointed out, really starts to pick up in the scene, right? It uses a lot of hesitation. As they pointed out, it continues with that, keeps Othello at bay, but there's a certain point where he suddenly becomes more direct. What is that? What statement does he make where he kind of then more directly comments on what he's really getting at here? Malika?
Oh, beware my lord of jealousy.
Absolutely. He's been kind of leading up to this, And then, again, he hasn't necessarily directly said that Cassio and Desdemona are having an affair, but he brings up this idea of jealousy, right? And that is going to immediately, right, get under Othello's skin, which we saw, those of us who watched the video the other day, we kind of saw that, right? That just the mention of it, right, can kind of trigger Othello. And if you look at the organization there, note that he mentions reputation first, how important a good reputation is. Do you think reputation matters to a man like Othello?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's the general, right, of the Venetian army. It's incredibly important. He mentions reputation, mentions jealousy, mentions being cuckold, right? So I think those three things in order is what really works to kind of unsettle, right, Othello here. Good. Do we think Othello's bothered?
A little bit.
Just a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Okay, he really still wants to know what Iago is at. He's got a couple of good, Catherine's good reading of "Oh misery," like, really, you can say "Oh misery." Malika.
When I was like going through the scene, I kind of realized like how smart Iago really is, because the way
Yes.
he's able to like manipulate people, like, yeah, it's really horrible, sure, but then he's extremely good at it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Kind of
literally
brilliant.
a talent
Yeah.
how good he is,
Yeah, he's
like, in
so
entrapment.
Yeah.
Definitely, and if you weren't here and you haven't had a chance to watch that video about kind of Iago's motivation, you should watch it, because one of the professors, I love how he describes Iago as a virus, right,
Yeah.
that kind of goes into its host and then uses its host in order to destroy it. And I think that's a perfect depiction of him, that he knows and understands all of his victims, and so he's able to kind of destroy them. I know, it's very dark. Destroy them from within. Okay. Anyway, such a fun play. Okay, group 3. So come forward. Let's see what happens after he keeps mentioning jealousy. Right? He actually mentions it 3 times in close succession. Let's see what Othello's reaction is. So, the rest of you, group 3 is going to pick up at line 178 and end at 215. Line 215. No, we're gonna start at line 178 and then finish at line 215. We're here all day, Lindy.
Oh wait, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm Iago. My objective, I'm definitely now planting the seeds of doubt in Othello. Being a little less subtle about it because he's kind of falling in.
Okay, I'm Othello, and in this scene, he's basically trying to counter the possibility of Desdemona's infidelity, and he's just trying to convince himself that she truly loves him and that all is well.
Good.
Why is this? Think as though I make a life of jealousy, to follow still the changes of the moon with fresh suspicions? No, to be once in doubt is once to be resolved. Exchange me for a goat while I should turn the business of my soul to such extravagant and flown surmises matching that inference. It is not to make me jealous to say my wife is fair, feeds well, loves company, is free of speech, sings, plays, and dances well. Where virtue is, these are more virtuous. Nor from mine own weak mirrors will I draw the smallest fear or doubt of her revolt, for she had eyes and chose me. No, Iago, I'll see before I doubt. When I doubt, prove. And on the proof, there is no more but this. Away at once with love or jealousy.
No. Othello doesn't seem convinced here. He's demanding proof for Iago's claims. Smart move.
I am glad of this, for now I shall have reason to show the love and duty that I bear you with franker spirit. Therefore, as I am bound, receive it from me. I speak not yet of proof. Look to your wife, observe her well with Cassio. Wear your eyes less, not jealous nor secure. I would not have your free and noble nature out of self-bounty be abused. Look to it. I know our country disposition well. In Venice they do let God see the pranks they dare not show their husbands. Their best conscience is not to leave undone, but keep unknown.
Iago fights back with commands of telling Othello to observe Cassio and Desdemona for proof.
Dost thou say so? She did deceive her father in marrying you, and when she seemed to shake and fear your look, she loved them most.
And so she did.
Ooh, Othello's taking the bait now. He realizes that Iago is right about Desdemona being deceitful with Brabantio.
Why, go to then. She that so young could give out such a seeming to seal her father's eyes up close as oak, he thought 'twas witchcraft. But I am much to blame. I humbly do beseech you of your pardon for too much loving you.
Iago's using an example of pathos to appeal to Othello's nature, acting as if he's doing all of this out of love for Othello.
I'm bound to thee forever.
Thank you. Okay. Some important text here. I love how they pointed out that the fact that he's calling for proof, right? I mean, it does maybe show that he's rational, right, and doesn't want to act on just instinct. However, the fact that Othello needs proof certainly suggests, right, that he has some doubts, right? Okay, instead of just a quick dismissal, right, he's asking for that sort of proof. And then Iago comes in for the kill, right? This is the most direct statement he makes. What does he basically say? Responding to Othello?
Watch her interaction.
Yeah, watch your wife with Cassio, right? So that's a ding, 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 right? Okay, he is now sort of setting up this affair. And you could argue that he's even using a bit of logos here. Observe, watch, look for the facts, Othello. So he's appealing to, right, that rational side in Othello that wants sort of the proof there. Another thing I want to kind of point out before you girls get up and go, he uses a little bit of ethos here, and I think it's a pretty significant quote. Look at starting at line 202, right? He says, look to it. I know our country disposition well. In Venice they do let God see the pranks they dare not show their husbands. Their best conscience is not to leave it undone, but keep it unknown, right? So I know our country disposition well. What is he suggesting about Venetian women?
They're secretive and they don't say.
Well, secretive in what way?
They betray us.
Yeah, they're promiscuous, right? They betray their husbands, right? They have many affairs. Yeah, they cuckold their husbands. So it's not that they, nice word. So it's not that they just opt not to do it. They do it and they hide it well. Okay, why would Othello be inclined to believe Iago here, or at least not dismiss it right away? Lindy?
Because he's not from Venice.
He's not Venetian. So this is actually a good example of ethos kind of mixed with pathos, right? I mean, the pathos being sort of this idea of your wife having an affair, conjuring, right, a certain emotion. But the fact that he's saying, I know Venice well. I'm from Venice, right? So you should believe me because you are not, right? And you don't know anything about these Venetian women. So this is a pretty powerful statement here. I mean, Othello, if he trusts him, is going to be apt to believe him, right? And this is another bit of quote-unquote proof, okay, for Desmond. And then I love that you brought up that echoing of Brabantio's warning. In some ways, you could argue that's a little bit of logos. She did this, therefore, she'll do this, right? So he's trying to, again, appeal to that rational side. He just heard Othello say, I need proof and reason. And Iago goes, okay, I'll give you some. All right, good job. Thank you, girls. All right, our last group, lines 216 to 259. Oh, this is a fun little section.
You're not the commentator. Why are you sitting down?
Oh my god. She was sitting.
Are you all can stand?
Yes, we're all
Just slightly more.
Hey.
I just break down, have a panic attack.
No panic attacks. Okay,
I'm just kidding.
not allowed in English class. Outside of English class, that's
We
fine.
passed out right here. She like posts it. She's like, you need to do your presentation.
Get up.
Get up, come on.
So I am Othello.
I'm Iago.
And
Pretty much.
you're your commentators.
Okay.
They pretty much already said it though. It's pretty much the same throughout, right? Yeah. She said just said yes. Okay. I see this hath a little dashed your spirits.
Not a jot. Not a jot.
My faith, I fear it has. I hope you will consider what is spoke comes from my love. But I do see you're moved.
Whoa, hold on. Let's backtrack. Iago states, come from my love. Iago is really trying to appeal to Othello through his use of pathos and ethos. He wants Othello to think that he is honest and trustworthy, but the dramatic irony is that we all know that he really is not. Iago just wants Othello to believe that he's a great person and will always have his back.
I am to pray you not to strain my speech to grosser issues nor to larger reach than to suspicion.
I will not.
Woo! Looks like a classic case of manipulation to me, Jollibee. Will Iago continue to take hold of his gullible mind and trusting character of Othello?
Should you do so, my lord, my speech should fall into such vile success as my thoughts aimed not at. Cassio's my worthy friend. My lord, I see you're moved.
No, not much moved. I do not think but Desdemona's honest.
Long live she so, and long live you to think so.
And yet, how nature erring from itself?
There's the point. As to be bold with you, not to affect many proposed matches of her own clime, complexion, and degree, whereto we see in all things nature tends.
Ah, yes, a clever tactic by Iago using logos. How could Desdemona ever love a man of Othello's race, age, and stature? She's denied men of her age, men of her status and race, and are overall very attractive. It's a good question, Jolie. How could Desdemona ever love Othello?
Foe, one may smell in touch a will most rank, foul disproportion, thoughts unnatural. But pardon me, I do not in position distinctly speak of her. Though I may fear her will, recoiling to her better judgment, may fall to match you with her country forms and happily repent.
Farewell, farewell. If more thou dost foresee, let me know more. Set on thy wife to observe. Leave me, Iago.
My lord, I take my leave.
Why did I marry?
Hold on. Wow, Courtney G. This part just got me going. Iago shoots his shot at Othello and makes him really doubt his relationship with Desdemona, and he actually scores. This is crazy. So Iago is actually convincing Othello that his relationship is falling apart, and Othello is actually doubting his own relationship.
This honest creature, doubtless, sees and knows more, much more, than he unfolds.
My lord, I would I might entreat your honor to scan this thing no farther. Leave it to time. Although 'tis fit that Cassio have his place, for sure he fills it up with great ability. Yet if you please to hold him off a while, you shall by that perceive him and his means. Note if your lady strain his entertainment with any strong or vehement importunity, much will be seen in that. In the meantime, let me be thought too busy in my fears as worthy, 'cause I have to fear I am, and hold her free. I do beseech your honor.
Ah, a brilliant play by Iago using powerful amounts of ethos. Iago is showing he's a good friend and tells Othello not to overthink. Iago, the deceptive player he is, claims he may be just too cautious.
Yes, Courtney G, I completely agree. Othello must be number 13, the unlucky number, because he's really taking all these hits. I really think that Iago just really wants all the press by his desire of honor and everyone to come to him. So I think Othello, by him just getting all the attention right now, Iago just wants to shut that down and make his relationship fall apart.
Fear not my government.
I once more take my leave.
Good. I love it. Very into it. Okay. Good. So one thing you kind of notice in the scene that they talked a little bit about. Oh, I'm on the wrong page here, of course. Interesting how Iago works this part, right? That he kind of alternately backs off and comes at Othello, which is, I think, incredibly powerful, right? Especially just like pretending to leave and then coming back, and pretending and coming back. Again, sort of, I think gets Othello a little confused, right? And kind of wondering, what is happening. And look at just kind of a few things he says, right? The part that started out with, I see this hath, a little dashed your spirits. And he says, oh, I fear it has. And then he says, what does he say later on? My lord, I see you're moved. What is he doing there? I see it's dashed your spirits. You seem moved. I really think it's upset you.
Well, he's sort of like putting these emotions onto Othello. Like, even if Othello wasn't upset, he's like, you're upset. Like, I get it.
I can tell you're really bothered, right?
Yeah.
Is something bothering you? Like, what's going on? Like, you seem really, upset. That so he's sort of like intimating, but also leading him, right, to think this. Yeah,
he's almost acting ignorant to the fact that he absolutely knows that this bothers Othello, but
yes.
he's acting ignorant, so Othello's like, yeah, I guess I am. Like,
yes.
How can you tell?
Yeah, and then he backs up like, oh, I didn't mean to upset you. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just think crazy thoughts. thoughts, right? Jolie?
I think Iago, like in the previous section, he also like was how he was saying he knows Venetian woman.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really like traps Othello because he's actually falling into the fact, well, maybe I should be upset about this. And so when Iago is like pressing all these emotions, like saying you should be mad, your wife is basically cheating on you. Then Othello's like kind of standing there like, okay, yeah, then I'll be mad then, like this isn't right. So like he's trapped.
Good. Yeah, you're right. So the organization of it is really important. You know, how he kind of comes at Othello in the order that he does.
And maybe even going a step further, like noticing that he's like emotionally distraught might show that Iago's such a great friend and really knows him well, which like portrays that like he can trust him even more.
Definitely, he really kind of cares about his well-being. So interesting to see that at the start of your scene, this last scene, you know, when Iago asked if he was bothered, Othello said, "Oh, not a jot, not a jot." By the end of that scene, he says, "Set thy wife on her to observe." Right? So have your wife watch my wife. I think that shows that he's pretty troubled. Right? If you want your wife observed by somebody else, then you suspect something, right? And I love that you kind of pointed out that part where he says, "Why did I marry?" Othello has a little mini soliloquy here, because Iago has left the stage for a moment, right? And that's when he says, "Why did I marry?" Right? I mean, what does this reveal to us about Othello's state of mind?
He's having regrets.
Confused. Having regrets. He's confused.
Second guessing his entire relationship.
Yeah, I mean, second guessing his relationship, and so we really kind of see that in that moment, and then Iago comes back in. Okay, let us look at, before we move into your other scenes, let's look at Othello's soliloquy really quickly, because this doesn't get captured in any of the scenes that you're putting on. So turn the page. So Iago leaves, and this is, again, a moment where Othello is on stage by himself, so we get to really see what Othello is thinking and how he's processing this. Unlike Iago, Othello only gets 2 soliloquies in the play, even though it's his play. He gets this soliloquy, and then in Act 5, he'll have a pseudo-soliloquy as Desdemona is sleeping. And those will be the only 2 times we really see, right, kind of Othello sort of expressing his thoughts to us. So let's look at this one. We're going to kind of go through it kind of line by line, or I guess sentence by sentence, and look at what he's talking about. But as we're doing it, I really want you to also consider the organization of this soliloquy. Where does he start and where does he end? Okay. So let's read the first kind of sentence that starts with "This fellows" and ends with "human dealings." Would someone like to read that sentence for us? Just the opening sentence. Okay, Sophia.
This fellows of exceeding honesty, and knows all qualities with the learned spirit of human dealings.
So what does he open with? A statement about what? This is his moment alone. Iago, right? Iago is kind of on his mind, right, a little bit. And what does he declare about Iago?
He's honest.
He's honest. So we know for a fact here, right, and we were pretty sure anyway, that Othello trusts Iago. Okay, so even when he's out of Iago's presence, he kind of proclaims that to us, right? He thinks he's honest, and he thinks he knows people well. That is true. All right, let's go to the next one. Who would read "If I do prove" down to "Pray at fortune"? Okay, Maggie, if you would read that first. And as Maggie's reading, he's going to use this sort of bird hawking imagery, which that's just a Shakespeare thing. He did a lot in Romeo and Juliet too, to describe each other as birds. Trying to figure out how he's using it here. What is it suggesting to us about how he views Desdemona and their relationship? Okay, go for it, Maggie. Down to where he says "to pray at fortune."
Okay. If I do prove her haggard, though that her jesses were my dear heartstrings, I'd whistle her off and let her down the wind, to pray at fortune.
Excellent. Okay, what does this hawking imagery suggest about how he views Desdemona? Bridget?
In medieval times, wouldn't they have, like, falcons as pets?
Yeah.
Would, like, find and train these hawks or falcons and, like, keep them?
Yes. So, good. So the fact that he says that, he says, if I do prove her haggard, right? What is haggard?
Crazy. It's a wild and
Wild hawk, right? Kind of an untrained. So if I find that she's not a good hawk pet hawk, I don't know, right? A well-trained one, if she's actually kind of well and trained, though that her jesses were my dear heartstrings, I'd whistle her off and let her down the wind. What is he suggesting then? Well, if I find that she's not a good pet, I have to let her go, right? That even though, right, the leash is really sort of my heart, right, my love, it will sort of tug at that, but I'll have to let her go. I can deal with that. I think that's better than "I'll tear her to pieces," right? Which
he says
later on, right? Yeah.
But could it be turning into Iago a little bit because he's using a lot of animal imageries?
Excellent. Yeah, definitely. So I love you pointed out because, and especially in the next section, we're going to see it as well. Yeah, note that his language here, he is starting to adopt Iagoisms, right? Okay, using right kind of animal terms to describe right people in Desdemona. Very good. Okay, so thinking about that, let's read the next section and think about how he might sound like Iago here. Who would read, starting with happily for I'm black, down to must be to Lothar? Who will read that section for me? Julia.
Happily for I am black, and have not those soft parts of conversation that chamberers have. Or for I am declined into the vale of years. Yet that's not much. She's gone, I am abused, and my relief must be to Lothar.
Excellent. Okay, what do you know about his language here? Esme?
He seems almost like to be kind of upset with himself. Like he kind of blames himself a little bit.
Definitely. Blaming and degrading himself. Good. Jolie?
Rather than realizing he fell in the trap of Iago, he's kind of like saying, like Esme was saying, he's saying like it's like I fell into it, like it's my fault, it's Desdemona's own trap. And then he also, when he said I'm abused, I think Iago kind of also put that in his head because he's saying like, he's not saying I know this is like bad for me, he's just saying I got told like, someone told me this is abuse, like this is wrong.
Okay. Julia?
I think he seems defeated, but also I do think that his sort of like confidence is coming down and ignorance.
Oh,
because
definitely.
He's like recognizing like the differences and actually addressing them.
Okay.
And this might be the first time he addresses them, like as like recognizes that in himself, like that's like recognizes society's belief that black people are like not equal.
Good. Yeah, it's the first time that he sees himself as other, right, Courtney?
Well, he's jumping to some rapid conclusions, saying like she's gone without even talking to her about it, and then saying like, and my relief must be to Lothar. Like at this point, all I can do is hate her in order to like, feel some relief. And it's interesting because again, like he has no proof; he's just being manipulated, and he hasn't even spoken to her really about the situation. So Ego is just tricking him to jump into these things.
Okay, good. Bridget?
Kind of back and down to what Julia said, that like I thought was very interesting about how when we first meet him is just how like self-confident he is. How,
Yes.
like, everyone around him is like throwing insults literally like to his face, like you're just black, like nobody likes you, and he never ever like doubted himself at the beginning. He was just very confident in his own abilities and everything. And now it's like, yeah, like Julie said, I think the first time he's ever said like, maybe it's all because of like I'm black or I'm too old.
Yeah.
He's definitely losing his confidence. Iago's getting to him.
Good. And who does he sound like?
Iago.
Iago.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like Iago in his soliloquies, he seems like distrustful and like hateful of everyone.
Yes.
And I feel like Othello's kind of mirroring that in this soliloquy, and also like he sounds a lot more like cynical. And the language is like a lot more.
Excellent, which is a lot like Iago as well, like talking about loathing and loss. But I mean, just on the page prior, Iago had said, right, not to be bold with you, right, not to affect many proposed matches of our own clime, complexion, and degree, whereto we see in all things nature tends. And it's the very next page. Othello has internalized that, right? It must be because, right, I am black, I don't have the right manners, I am of a different status, right, okay, I am too old. Okay, so let's continue. Who will read from O Curse of Marriage down to For Others' Uses? Christine, thank you.
A curse of marriage, that we can call these delicate creatures ours and not their appetites. I'd rather be a toad and live upon the vapor of a duckling than keep a corner in the thing I love for others' uses.
Excellent. So what's his kind of comment here? What's his view on love and marriage at this point? Lindy?
It eats away at people.
Ooh, okay, that it could. It can kind of eat away at you, right, to destroy you. What else? What else does he think about women? So he suggests here. Well, yeah, they're rather promiscuous, right? Okay, kind of lustful. Again, we see him echoing that language, right, of Iago's, right? That these women have these appetites, right? That can be, sort of, satiated. And then he says, I'd rather be a toad, right, than live upon, right, the vapor of a dungeon, and live upon the vapor of a dungeon. Again, echoes Iago there, as kind of Megan pointed out earlier, right? Remember, at one point he had said, like, I'd rather be a baboon, right, than love a whore like you do, Rodrigo. You know, that's on recorded. Anyway, so kind of echoing that language again. So then he says, right, yet 'tis the plague of great ones, right, prerogativated as are they less than the base. 'Tis destiny unshunnable like death. Even then this forked plague is fated to us when we do quicken. Especially sort of great ones, fate, right, destiny. What does that make you think of?
Tragic hero.
Tragic hero, right? He's actually kind of referencing himself as a tragic hero here, right? I'm a great one and it's our plague, right? That destiny and fate has us set up for, right, sort of demise, right? For something bad to happen. And of course that is what's happening. He just doesn't realize Iago's the problem, right? And not Desdemona.
Is he actually considered a tragic hero?
He is. Othello is definitely. Because he's great. Noble stature, right? He starts out as a great character, right? He's got some flaws, some weaknesses we've been looking at, right? Some vulnerabilities. And certainly he is going to have a major downfall and come crashing. And we will see at the end some self-recognition about although whether he sees himself the same way we do, we'll have to explore that when we get there. Okay, let's read the last few lines. Who'd like to read the end of the soliloquy for us? Jolie.
It's from.
Start with look where she comes.
Okay. Sorry, I just think
Right above enter.
Oh yeah. Look where she comes. If she be false, so then heaven mocks itself. I'll not believe it.
Okay. So note that as he's saying it, Desdemona and Emilia enter. Right. So they're not talking to each other yet, but he sees her enter. What is his thought then? As soon as he sees her, as soon as she's in his presence.
He starts doubting it. He's just like, oh.
Doubting what?
The fact that she would betray him.
Yeah.
Because he loves her so much, like he's like, I can't even imagine it as soon as he sees her, because like I feel like everything about their relationship just kind of like smacks him in the face right there, and he's like, she could never do that.
Good. With the virus taken out of the picture for a moment, right? He's able to kind of remember, right? Yeah, I agree. Kind of their relationship. Oh, if only he would have just said something to her in this moment, or asked her a question, had a conversation, right? Things would be very different.
Yeah.
Right. Again, it kind of plays into the idea of appearance versus reality. How does it do that? How does this statement kind of connect to that topic of appearance versus reality? He says, look where she comes. If she be false, oh, then heaven mocks itself. I'll not believe it. How does this statement connect to that topic?
Like if she is like kind of telling the truth, like he doesn't like see it, so like what he thinks of her is different than what like she actually is.
Well, that's definitely part of it. Yeah, the kind of what he's been thinking about her in the moment that he sees her, thinks, oh, that must be so different than what she really is. Okay. But what is sort of her? What is he sort of suggesting about her outside appearance?
Oh, like
She looks
physiognomy,
amazing.
like no, sorry. Like no, not it's like if someone. I mean, there's like a belief like if someone like looks like they have good qualities, then people assume that.
Yeah, so she comes, remember how she's been described throughout much of the play already? Fair, virtuous, innocent, right? They've kind of talked about her in these heavenly terms. So he sees her and he says, oh my God, if she's deceitful, then heaven mocks, right, itself. That she looks heavenly, right? She's heavenly and fair. And that's been kind of emphasized throughout the play. And so in this moment he thinks, there can't be such a difference between appearance and reality, right? If she looks this way, she must be this way. And this also then shows us that's partly why he's so easily duped. Iago looks trustworthy and honest. He seems trustworthy, and Othello takes that at face value. Unfortunately, he won't ultimately be able to do the same thing with Desdemona. Okay, very good. So, we're going to now do our scenes. Okay, so the way the scene plays out, his soliloquy is there, he ends his soliloquy, Desdemona and Emilia have come on stage, turn the page, right, and this conversation happens immediately after, okay? So, group one, come forth.
I think she might take another scene.
Oh my God, this scene is the worst. It goes on for days. I don't know. And as a teacher, it's like, it's so hard. Where do you stop? How do you break? Oh, this play drives me nuts. Yeah.
The last scene of the play is
so long, but it's a beast.
No, as rigid. We just need to, we're only acting them out, yes?
Yeah, you're going to act it out, right? And then provide a little significance afterwards. I mean, what do you think was important in this moment? Yeah, these are great.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Makes me. You always end with a soliloquy. I feel like you do it with Iago too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say, so
I wasn't sure if I used you right. Should we just be Iago? Should we just adapt?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jab,
You could
yeah, but we practice with theology.
Oh,
so
okay.
You're welcome.
So, girls, follow along your text. We're going to see them act out, right? Kind of, we'll see how it goes through the rest of the scene, and then afterwards we'll talk a little bit about the significance of each section and kind of move on. But again, we saw sort of the middle of the scene as Othello's soliloquy, and now we're going to see how things kind of unfold after that. Okay, so for those of you listening in, this first scene is going to be lines 282 to 301. Okay, so just make sure you state who you are, objectives, and then go for it.
Okay. I'm Othello. I momentarily forgotten, or not forgotten, but like put aside my disbelief of Desdemona a little bit. Not that much. It's showing a little bit.
I'm Desdemona, and I'm really confused at what's going on, because my husband's not doing so great.
Okay.
He's got a headache, and I'm just trying to be a good wife.
I'm Amelia, and I'm trying to accompany Desdemona and be a good friend.
Okay. How now, my dear fellow? Your dinner and the generous islanders you invited to attend your presence.
I am to blame.
Why do you speak so faintly? Are you not well?
I have a pain upon my forehead here.
Faith, that's with watching. 'Twill away again. Let me but find it hard. Within this hour, it will be well.
Your napkin's too little. Let it alone. Come, I'll go in with you.
I'm very sorry that you're not well.
I'm glad I found this napkin. This was her first remembrance from the moor. My wayward husband hath 100 times wooed me to steal it, but she so loves the token, for I conjured her she should ever keep it, that she reserves it evermore about her to kiss and talk to. All of the work hang out and give it Iago. What he will do with it, heaven knows, not I. I'm nothing but to please his fantasy.
Okay, so scene significance. What do we kind of learn here maybe about characters and relationships?
Othello's pushing Desdemona away a little bit.
Yep.
Quite literally, but also like just kind of drawing distance from her. He's not accepting her. What's the word?
Her attention.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's kind of maybe it might have kind of alienated Desdemona a little bit. She seems a little miffed about why he's not, giving her much attention.
Good, good. And what about this woman? Amelia comes up now. She's interesting.
My hero.
Your hero?
I love Amelia.
Oh my goodness.
She's so weird.
Yeah, I feel like she's really brainless.
She's
like that chick.
Well,
She
she's
just
like,
wants
she's
everything
like trying
from
to
him.
get like approval from him. Like she wants him to love her.
Yes.
He's never going to.
Good. And what,
Never
okay,
going
so
to.
what line supports that? That she really seems to want Iago's approval.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm nothing but to please his fantasy. Again, it seems strange for a woman who is consistently belittled and degraded, right, by her husband. But perhaps that's why. Let me ask you this question. She knows this is an important token, right, to Desdemona. She says that, right? This was her first remembrance from the moor, right? And she knows it, that Desdemona holds on to it, keeps it close to her. What do you think about Amelia's action of taking it and giving it to Iago? Julia?
Oh, Amelia's just jealous.
Ooh. So she might be jealous of their relationship?
Yeah, just wanting of that.
Oh, so she might want to disrupt things a little bit herself? Interesting. Okay, Maggie?
She might
pledge more allegiance to Iago
Okay.
than Desdemona, which is because she like knows that it's important to Desdemona,
Mhm.
but she still would rather give it to Iago because she was like.
Okay. All right, Malika.
I honestly feel like, especially in this scene when I was reading it, I kept on saying, like, why is she doubting every single thing she says? It's like in this one paragraph, she's kind of like debating whether she should, like, keep it there because she doesn't really know what Iago's gonna use it for, but she also shows, like, that she cares for Desdemona a little bit because she's still, like, thinking, like, should I really be doing this?
Yeah.
He's kind of like a psychopath.
Okay, maybe, but then she goes ahead and gives it to him anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, good. So let's see how that unfolds. All right, you girls have a seat. Thank you. So the next group, let's see how Iago and Amelia interact.
I got it.
We'll see if he's super appreciative or not.
I'm behind. Appreciative.
Okay, so scene 2, and I'm saying this out loud for the people watching, lines 302 to 334. Okay.
Okay, I'm Amelia. I'm in a handkerchief.
And then I'm Iago, and I want to get the handkerchief.
I'm Iago at the end of this has like when Amelia exits, he has like a mini little soliloquy. So I'm gonna be his like inner thoughts, I guess.
Okay.
How now? What do you hear alone?
Do not shy. I have a thing for you.
You have a thing for me? It is a common thing
Ha!
to have a foolish wife.
Oh, is that all? What will you give me now for the same handkerchief?
What handkerchief?
What handkerchief? Why, the Morpher's gift to Desdemona, that which so often you did bid me steal.
Has you stole it from her?
No, she did. No, Faith. She let it drop by negligence, and to thy advantage, I bringing here took up. Look, here it is.
A good wench. Give it to me.
What will you do with it? That you have been so earnest to have me fetch it.
Why? What's that to you?
If it be not for some purpose of important, give me again, poor lady. She'll run mad when she lack it.
Be not ignorant on it. I have no use for it. Go, leave me.
I will in Cassio's lodging lose this napkin and let him find it. Trifles light as air and jealous to confirmation strong and proofs of holy wit. This may do something. The more already changes with my poison. Dangerous conceits are their nature's poisons, which at the first scarce found to distaste, but with little act upon the blood. Burn it with the minds of slur, and I do say so. Look, here he goes, or look, here he comes. The potty nor
Mandragora,
nor all the drowsy syrups of the world, shall never medicine thy what sweet sleep, which thou owedst yesterday.
Very good. Okay. I love the handkerchief. All right, what do you think about this scene?
This really reveals their relationship, Iago and Amelia, because it's like Iago is like really taking charge. He like never said, "Oh, thank you for the handkerchief, thank you for telling it." So he's like, taking what she has done for his own pride, rather than saying, "You did this, thank you." He just is like manipulating her.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, that they both seem to be, like, using each other. I mean, because Amelia repeatedly basically says, like, what's in it for me? Like, give it back to me because you need to give me something back. It's like she really wants something in return. And then Iago just kind of regards her, like, with, like, no interest at all. So it just shows, like, that they have, like, absolutely no love for each other. And I wrote it down as, like, a one-sided relationship because Amelia seems to want to give, but then Iago is just taking and not returning.
Good. And she almost seems to have a moment of regret, too, when she says, if it not be for some purpose of import, give it to me again. Poor lady, she'll run mad with it, without it. Oh, well. too late, right? Good. So another thing to note, this is a turning point for Iago, right? Because now he has some concrete, quote-unquote, proof, right? He knows he can be more bold with Othello in the second half of this scene because he has something that he can use as evidence, right? Good. All right, thank you. So now we're going to see that. What is going to happen? How is Iago going to come in for the kill, essentially, and destroy our rational, loving Othello and make him something else? Okay?
I'll start with how happens to me.
Okay, so Sophia and I are Othello. Sophia's starting, and then I'm finishing. I'm Iago. Maggie and I, our objective in this scene is, I think we're kind of like just distraught. Like you can really see how Othello's like his state of mind is really deteriorated.
Mm-hmm.
And also like you can tell that he's starting to get jealous, but he's demanding proof, which is interesting. So you'll see that.
He hangs on to some rationality.
And then as for Iago, it seems like he's just speaking little, so then he gets Othello more riled up, so then Othello will speak more, and he's just trying to give him little by little until Othello like gives in.
Haha, false to me.
Why, how now, General? No more of that.
I want to be gone, thou hast set me on the rack. I swear 'tis better to be much abused than but to know it a little.
How now, my lord?
What sense had I of her stolen hours of lust? I saw it not, thought it not, it harmed not me. I slept the next night well fed, was free and merry. I found not Cassio's kisses on her lips. That he that is robbed, not wanting what is stolen. Let him not know it, and he's not robbed at all.
I'm sorry to hear this.
I had been happy if the general camp, pioneers and all, had tasted her sweet body, so I had nothing known. Oh, now, forever, farewell the twinkled mind, farewell content, farewell the plumed troops and the big wars that make ambition virtue. Oh, farewell, farewell the neighing steed and the shrill trump, the spirit-stirring drum, the ear-piercing fife, the royal banner in all quality, pride, pomp, and circumstance of glorious war. And you, O mortal engines, whose rude throats the immortal Jove's dread clamors counterfeit, farewell, Othello's occupation gone.
Is it possible, my lord?
Villain, be sure thou...
Villain, be sure thou prove my love a whore. Be sure of it. Give me ocular proof. Or by the worth of mine eternal soul, thou hadst been better have been born a dog, than answer my waked wrath.
Is it come to this?
Make me see, or at least so prove it, that the probation bear no hinge nor loop, to hang a doubt on, or woe upon thy life.
My noble lord.
If thou dost slander her and torture me, never pray more. Abandon all remorse. On horror's head, horrors accumulate. Do deeds to make heaven weep, all earth amazed. For nothing canst thou to damnation add, greater than that.
Oh grace, oh heaven, forgive me. Are you a man? Have you a soul or sense? God by you, take mine office, O wretched fool, that loves to make thine honesty a vice, O monstrous world. Take note, O world. To be direct and honest is not safe. I thank you for this profit, and from hence I'll love no friend, sith love breeds such offense.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
This part, is it like the next day?
So this is the part of the play where time just completely goes out the window, right? Shakespeare has it as one scene, and I think even at the start it just says it takes place in a room in a castle. So it never indicates that night has come and then the next day, right? We know they go to dinner for a moment, right? Desdemona and Othello, but then how much time passes?
They sleep.
We don't know, right? Yeah, whether, again, days pass. Now, so in different productions, they'll stage it as happening over a period of days, because otherwise it logically makes no sense. There's no time for the affair to have happened, right? But there is technically no indication that time has passed. And so that's a huge criticism of this play. I just think Shakespeare said, well, whatever the chronological time.
When you're that good.
Yeah, when you're that good, you can just, yeah, so like again, that film, the one with Lawrence Fishburne and Kenneth Branagh, they have this actually taking places in multiple scenes over multiple days, so it's almost like Iago kind of keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. Yeah, good question. Okay. Significance.
So, Othello, especially when he like asks for ocular proof, he still wants to maintain that like honest Desdemona, but you can see that it's starting to get to him because he's trying to like convince himself that it's not true, but in the back of his mind he really thinks or knows it's true.
How do we know that? In the back of his mind, he's suspecting.
Well, in lines 369 to 374, he kind of is telling Iago that like you have caused me so much pain and so much like anxiety that like if you don't get proof and this is not real, then like you wish you were never born. Like I'm gonna be so mad at you.
Good. I mean, he does give a pretty harsh warning to Iago. I mean, pretty much, I'll kill you. Like, if you do not prove this, if you've made me go through this, right? I mean, horrors upon horrors. Oh God, if only. This is a moment it could have changed.
It almost seems like he wants proof though, like he wants it to be true.
Oh, interesting. Maybe. Okay. And Iago really dodges a bullet here, right? He's able to somehow spin it back in his favor, right? Pretty cleverly. Good. Anything else?
There's this one line that Othello says, "This villain, be sure that I love him."
Yes.
This segment's very, very ironic because it's almost a bit of like, it's definitely dramatic irony, also maybe a bit of verbal irony because like Othello thinks that like Iago is helping him, and he calls him villain because he's like. Iago is supposed to be like the bearer of bad news, telling him about this affair. But he's not really calling him villain for the right reason, clearly.
Nice. Yeah.
And so that kind of really contributes to the dramatic irony and like appearance versus reality.
Oh, I like that. And it's an interesting juxtaposition of words too to describe Desdemona, right? Love and whore in the same sentence. Right? Be sure thou prove my love a whore. What does that suggest, that juxtaposition there?
Well, whore, like the connotations are like promiscuous.
Yes.
And then love, it's sort of like romantic. And it just doesn't make sense like together.
So what is that revealing about him?
He's like really confused.
He's very confused. We have an incredibly conflicted Othello here, right? He's not totally sure which side to land on, right? Is she his cherished love, or is she the whore of Venice, right? Okay, as Iago. Well, that's what Iago is kind of suggesting. New play. Anyway, and so again, but note too that he's kind of echoing or parroting Iago's language there a little bit. Okay, one other thing I want to put out in the scene. Did anybody note his use of anaphora? Othello's use of anaphora?
Wait, where?
Oh, the farewell?
Ah, yes, the repetition of farewell, right, in successive clauses, right? Farewell the tranquil mind, farewell content, farewell the plumed troops, oh farewell, farewell the neighing steed. Then he says it again, right? So that's purposeful, right? Why? What does this anaphora indicate to us?
Desdemona weakness?
That's
Or
kind of, I think
it's like the end of that like honeymoon period that they're in.
Okay, so it could be sort of
saying goodbye to like his last piece of like
sanity.
It is. He seems to be saying goodbye to his rational, right, kind of sane, comforted self. I mean, that's so sad. Farewell the tranquil mind, right? So I mean, Othello kind of says goodbye to his old self, right, who is reasonable and loving. And what's going to happen over the next couple scenes is the new self is going to kind of come forth, and he's going to look a lot like Iago, right, by the end of the scene. So it's kind of an important moment where he uses that time to kind of say goodbye, and we as an audience can see that. Okay, thank you. All right. Woo. Okay, big scene there in the middle. So take it away. So Othello had a moment to say a lot, and now note, Iago's going to come back in and sort of re-dominate. Okay.
Oh my god. Oh, and also, make sure that you catch me.
I know. We're going to be able to wrap this up.
Okay. Wait, do we need this?
I don't think so. Okay, I am Iago, and my entire goal is to really confuse Othello, which I ultimately do very well.
I'm Othello. I mean,
You're
yes,
Othello.
I am. I'm Othello now. And I think the whole am getting more confused and more thoughts. I'm questioning everything, but also thinking that maybe what Iago is saying is true about my wife. Alright. Nay, stay. Thou shouldst be honest.
I should be wise, for honesty is a fool and loses that it works for.
By the world, I think my wife be honest, and think she is not. I think that thou art just, and think that thou art not. I'll have some proof. Her name that was as fresh as Diane's visage, is now begrimed and black as mine own face. If there be cords or knives, poison or fire or suffocating streams, I'll not endure it. Would I were satisfied.
I see, sir, you are eaten up with passion. I do repent me that I put it to you. Would you be satisfied?
Would. Nay, I will.
And may, but how? How satisfied, my lord? Would you, the supervisor, grossly grape on, behold her tops?
Death and damnation, oh!
It were a tedious difficulty, I think, to bring them to that prospect. Damn them, then. If ever mortal eyes do see them bolster more than their own. What then? How then? What shall I say? Where's satisfaction? It is impossible that you should see this, where they are as prime as goats, as hot monkeys, as salt as wolves in pride, and fools as gross as ignorance made me drunk. But yet, I say, if imputation and strong circumstances which lead directly to the door of truth will give you satisfaction, you might have it.
Give me a living reason she's disloyal.
I do not like the office, but sith I am entered in this cause so far, pricked taught by foolish honesty and love, I will go on. I lay with Cassio lately, and being troubled with a raging tooth, I could not sleep. There are kind of men so loose of soul that in their sleeps will mutter their affairs. One of this kind is Cassio. In sleep I heard him say, "Sweet Desdemona, let us be wary, let us hide our loves." And then, sir, he would gripe and wring my hands, cry, "Oh, sweet creature," and then kiss me hard, as if he plucked up lips by the roots that grew upon my lips, then laid his leg over my thigh and side, and kissed, and then cried, "Cursed fate that gave thee to the moor."
Oh, monstrous, monstrous!
Nay, but this was but his dream.
But this denoted a foregone conclusion.
'Tis a shrewd doubt, though it be but a dream, and this may help to thicken other proofs that do demonstrate thinly.
I'll tear her all to pieces.
Okay, so what is significant about? What's significant about this scene? Okay, we gotta wrap up. So what's the significance here?
Okay, well, Iago, honestly, I'm confused by him in this scene because he's explaining like this very vivid situation that he had with Cassio, like while they were sleeping, like in the same bed. But and so he says that all very deliberately just to like confuse Othello and make Othello believe he had an affair with, or like Desdemona had an affair. But then after Othello gets all riled up, he's like, "But it was just a dream. Don't worry about it." So it's definitely a lot of confusion that he's making Othello.
No, is this? I mean, was Cassio really sleep talking in this way?
No. This is all a lie. Yeah.
So it's a bald-faced lie,
Yeah.
right? At this point, Bridget.
Almost like, especially in that like presentation, it sounds like Iago is making fun of Othello at this point. He's like telling such this obviously fake story, and Othello's like believing it.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, is Othello's credulity convincing? I mean, is it really believable that someone could be so gullible?
No.
It's not believable Iago can be so evil or good at this. This whole story is very
You have to have some common sense. I feel like he's not thinking like
if jealousy takes seed, right, kind of, I guess takes root, it can maybe allow you to think things you wouldn't think, or it might allow you to say things or do things you wouldn't do. Maggie?
Othello is also really vulnerable when it comes to anything about Desdemona.
Yes.
So, even though it seems hard to believe, none of us would hopefully believe this, but, when it comes to Desdemona, all bets are off with Othello.
Okay, okay, this might be one area that he's not sort of the great, valiant, authoritative man. Malika?
Kind of going off of Magnus one, but not really. But I feel like Othello is extremely although he poses he's not really insecure about the fact that he's different from everyone else. I feel like he actually is, because he doesn't seem, he is so quick to jump on the fact that Desdemona is able to go for attractive guy like Cassio, and he's just and then he looks at himself, he's like, okay, so I'm old, I'm different, and nasty.
How nasty? We don't know. We don't know if he's that old, but
okay,
older.
He's older like Desdemona and Cassio.
Okay, alright, we gotta go quickly. Lindy.
I don't think Othello is necessarily believing Iago right now. I think because he does get riled up, but he also says give me proof. I need solid proof that this is true.
Well, he says give me ocular proof.
Yeah.
Proof I can
see.
Does Iago give him ocular proof?
Well, I mean, he puts an image in his mind.
Oh, he puts an image in his mind, but he doesn't give him hard proof.
But he's never
look.
But he believes
he still
it.
needs him.
Yeah.
Honestly,
But I still think he's questioning.
about Desdemona.
Yeah, right.
You're
We're seeing.
hilarious. We're getting closer to you.
How has none of this gotten back to Cassio?
Yeah, true that.
Well, because remember at the end of the scene, because I'm not going to go confront him. What is it? Well, we're going to have the group actually. Maybe we should bring this group up so we can see. There's never a conversation about maybe we should ask people what's
There's
going
no
on.
communication in this
There's
book.
no. You're right. There's no communication. So actually, why don't you girls? We're gonna just so we can finish. Let's answer your question with the last scene. All right, Jolie, Julia, come forward. No, use the sword. Absolutely. Okay. So, come forward. This is why I'm excited we get to watch it. We get to go see it. I think it's gonna be fun.
Honestly, Courtney.
All right, girls, we gotta wrap it up. We're short on time.
Okay, I'm Iago. I use leading questions and intimation and false information regarding the handkerchief to give Othello more reason of circumstance to doubt Desdemona's fidelity.
And I'm Othello, and basically I've lost all sense of rationality, and I'm still grieving over Desdemona, but I'm also very angry with her and of what she's done.
Okay.
I'm Iago. I forgot. Nay, yet be wise. Yet we see nothing done. She may be honest yet. Tell me but this. Have you not sometimes seen a handkerchief spotted with strawberries in your wife's hand?
I gave her such a one. 'Twas my first gift.
I know not that, but such a handkerchief. I am sure it was your wife's. Did I today see Cassio wipe his beard with?
If it be that,
or any that was hers, it speaks against her with other proofs.
oh, that slave had 40,000 lives. One is too poor, too weak for my revenge. Now do I see his true. Look here, Iago. In my fond love, thus do I blow to heaven. 'Tis gone. Arise, black vengeance. From thy hollow cell, yield up, O love, thy crown and hearted throne, to tyrannous hate. Swell bosom with thy fraught, for 'tis of aspic's tongues.
Yet be content.
Oh, blood.
Patience, I say. Your mind perhaps may change.
Never, Iago! Look into the Pontic sea, whose icy current in compulsive course never feels retiring ebb, but keeps due on. To the Pontic in the Hellespont, even so my bloody thoughts with violent pace shall near look back, near ebb to humble love, so that a capable and wide revenge swallow them up. Now by yon marble heaven, in the due reverence of a sacred vow, I here engage my words.
Do not rise yet. Witness you ever-burning lights above. Witness that here Iago doth give up the execution of his wit, hands, and heart to wronged Othello's service. Let him command, and to obey shall be in my remorse. What bloody business ever?
I greet thy love, not with vain thanks, but with acceptance, bounteous, and will upon the instant but thee talk. Within these 3 days, let me hear shall say that Cassio's not alive.
My friend is dead. 'Tis done at your request, but let her live.
Damn her lewd winks. Oh, damn her. Come go, with me apart. I will withdraw to furnish me with some swift means of death. For the fair devil, now art thou my lieutenant.
I am your own forever.
Whoa. So good. I love that. The bowing together, kneeling together. Okay, so to kind of answer Christine's question, well, I mean, they're not going to talk to Cassio. Because what's going to be done instead?
He's going to
Yes, you have 3 days, Iago. 3 days to kill Cassio.
No.
So, okay, so what's sort of the significance? What do we notice here at the end?
Well, at least for Othello, you can really see how, like, at one point he's like, oh, that handkerchief, that was, like, my gift to her. But then he's like, oh, like, I'm so mad now. She did all this to me, and now Cassio, it's partly his fault, so we gotta take him out. And he's, you can see Iago's trying to, like, kind of calm Othello down, like, no, just don't do that to Desdemona. Just, like, Cassio will kill, but not Desdemona.
Yeah, so basically Othello has lost, like, all sense of rationality. Like, he lost his control over his emotions. Like, he described, like, even so my bloody thoughts with violent pace shall never look back. Sort of describing it as, like, his thoughts of jealousy and anger and hatred are, like, inescapable at this point. Like, so he's basically thinking, like, emotion over rationality.
Good.
And Iago, me, is very brilliant because I disassociate myself as a source of Desdemona, like, cheating, like, the source of the idea that Desdemona is cheating, because, like, I act as a voice of reason for Othello, and, yeah.
Yeah, Othello's hardcore convinced that Cassio needs out, and then things
Well,
will...
who else needs out?
Oh.
He's like, really? To kill Desdemona?
Yeah.
Absolutely. His final line, to furnish me with some swift means of death for the fair devil.
Yeah.
Who is he describing?
Desdemona.
And it's Desdemona, right? That he sees her now as deceitful and sneaky, right? Evil like the devil, but she is the fair devil, right? Because, you know, based on her appearance here, he plans to kill Desdemona as well, right? So we now have basically a play of 2 revenges, right? We've got Iago's revenge on Othello, and then what is now our new story of revenge? Othello's revenge on Desdemona and Cassio, right? So this is where we're going to be tracking now, right, throughout the rest of the play. What do you notice about Othello's language and tone here at the end? And you might have filled it out on that blood worksheet. What do you notice about his language? It's dark.
He's really...
A lot of...
Images of, like, rising up in, like, hell and...
Yeah, a lot of hellish vengeance imagery. I mean, arise, black vengeance. Remember he said goodbye to the tranquil Othello? Arise, the hellish, right, vengeful Othello.
For me, he seems a lot more direct on what he is, like, talking about and, like, who he is speaking to, really. Like, so, like, that's what I've noticed.
Okay. What do you notice about the punctuation he uses a lot of?
A lot of exclamations.
A lot of exclamations. This is a very passionate, right, Othello? What do you notice even about the length of his sentences here? They're much shorter, right? These kind of like outbursts, right, of passion that kind of indicate, right, that he's been sort of taken over a little bit by this monstrous jealousy.
I also noticed that, like, you can tell that Othello's, like gone crazy. He's ready to kill, like, Desdemona and Cassio, but, Iago doesn't want Desdemona dead because that's the person he really loves, or supposedly loves, and so when, so Iago doesn't really like Cassio either because, as, like, he said earlier, he's too nice and too, like, attractive, but, so he's, like, Othello's ready to kill, Cassio, but Iago's, like, saying, okay, you can kill Cassio, we'll do that easily, but Desdemona, we gotta keep her, because, like, that's who he ultimately loves.
Oh, perhaps. Okay, have a seat, just because we're short on time. Okay, so we have to wrap up here. So we didn't quite get through the whole lesson because of the situation So one thing I suggest is that you may want to, because I have to send you home with this assignment, but we're covering it in the other classes, and we just can't quite cover it in this class today. But it's based on that handout you filled out as you were reading that, oh, blood, 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 where you really starting to track, and we did it today as we went through the presentations, when Othello was kind of loving and rational, to then when he got conflicted and confused, to then this sort of jealous, crazy monster at the end. So, just another way to practice writing. You're going to write another paragraph, but this time you're focusing on Othello, right? And specifically his language. How the changes in his language indicate changes in his state of mind. Does that make sense? Okay, so it is kind of some close analysis of diction, right, and tone. So it's just a single paragraph. I've given you, if you want to use this topic sentence, you totally can, right? It's kind of a fill-in-the-blank topic sentence, because you're doing great with claims at this point. And really, your analysis is becoming much more specific, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to be passing these back so you can take them with you, and you'll see that. So again, by analyzing language, it's going to force you to continue with that specific analysis. What I really want you to work on for this paragraph is trying to enhance your style, okay? So you'll note the first requirement is that for each of your CDs, the challenge is, I want you to pair 2 quotes into one CD.
2 different quotes, like from
Two different quotes, right? So the idea is that then you can really, I want you to kind of practice with that pick and choose method. So you all have that integrating quotes handout, right? That you could use to do that, or to kind of, see the previous paragraph. This is how, kind of this student did it, and she was kind of playing with how Iago describes Othello. She said, in his first attempt, Iago beguiles Brabantio, great diction there, by calling Othello a thief, the devil, and an old black ram, right? So she kind of listed bits and pieces of quotes in order to make her point. So I want you to kind of practice and play with that in this paragraph. So some of you are doing it already, and if you're not, I want you to do it, okay, with this time. So try to figure out, it's going to take clever integration. How can you bring 2 quotes together, right? So maybe in one chunk, if you're going to focus on Othello as rational and loving, pull a couple pieces, bring them together, find a way to do that, and that's your one CD, and then you go in and explain it. It will actually give you more to talk about in your commentary, which is nice. So you just excise bits and pieces. I also, though, want to make sure that you're using better adjectives. I was yelling at my daughter last night about making her writing more interesting by including adjectives.
She's 5.
Isn't she? Erase it. Write it again. Welcome to my house. So, do you remember those handouts I gave you at the start of the year? The yellow ones? There's a whole side that has adjectives to describe character. So I want you to use those. And there's also a section that has adjectives to describe diction. Those would be great to fill in the blanks here. If you lost it, find it from someone. I also want you to actively use the vigorous verbs handout.
That is very helpful.
As well. Okay? So that is your challenge. We are going to peer edit on Monday. Okay? So come with the draft on Monday. But the final one is going to be due next Wednesday. So I'm going to pass it back. I am really proud of where we're going with writing. So I want you guys to take this home for the weekend and then use this actually as a model for the one you're writing. Right? Really look at kind of what you worked to improve on and use that as a starting point for this next paragraph, and then hopefully we'll improve from there. Okay, so guys, I only put your final grade on it. I didn't put the grade it was initially. If you want to know, you have to come have a conversation with me. That just makes you have to talk to me. That's all. All right, thanks for staying a little bit longer. You are out of here. But I will say, I'm going to post what we do in the other classes on the topics page. So you can kind of watch, and we'll do our best to catch up on Monday. Oh, and the reading, I'll post it online too. You're going to finish 4.1 and start reading 4.2, and we're just going to do a live catch up on Monday. A lot of sit down and discuss so we can get through it.
Looks exactly the same.
So
I need to do the calculation.
Wait, exactly. No, the one in the grade book is the one.
Yeah, it's on iMac.
It should be
but
the same.
isn't it right here?
Yeah, the initial grade I have written down.
No, yeah, I know, but
That's
the final grade is here, right?
Yeah, so it should be the same as on iMac.
Oh, I didn't check. I saw it on iMac.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I saw my
Okay. So when you have it, you can go if you want to talk to me about it in May. But I'm super excited. We are really improving.
so bad.
Yeah, so you turned into it, you're gonna have to wait. Sorry, my dear.
Sorry.
Those I didn't quite get to. I was scurrying to get the other ones done.
Whenever you say interesting, I always think you say uninteresting. I'm like, oh,
Why?
I really said uninteresting.
You are so funny.